Yo, what is going on, Steeler Nation? Welcome back to episode 407 of the Steel Factory podcast. My name is Rion. I'm joined by my co-host Junior today. How are we doing?
Good.
Another Victory Monday. Let's start with that first and foremost. So yeah, we're basically gonna go into the game, give our little recaps, and yeah. Overall, what were your, I guess, first impressions as the game ended?
Um, I think my first impression is like that's another Steeler win, and then I honestly the next one was like the Broncos defense is not that good, and the Chargers defense is looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So
They played the
maybe that's on me
Panthers.
though.
Thing is, they
Already
beat the
looking past.
Raiders. They beat the Raiders, and the Raiders just beat the Ravens. That's what you kind of go off of right now, right? But yeah, we'll get into the play-by-play here in a second. What I wanted to kind of do maybe next time is like kind of go through our texts like in the group chat and just start like fucking throwing out our hot takes from like within the game and like right after, because those shits are funny. But yeah, let's get into, I guess, the play-by-play, how the game started. I think we won the toss and deferred. The Broncos started with the ball. I think they went 3-and-out. Honestly, their first couple drives, and then I think we had a 3-and-out as well. Then a couple 3-and-outs, traded back and forth. Then we had that one drive, the touchdown drive. Who would have thought that Darnell Washington would have our only touchdown in the first two games of the season, and we'd be 2-0 in that. But yeah, I thought that was a really good drive. Actually, I thought the offense was actually kind of making me optimistic. What did you think about that first drive? I think we had a lot of. I think there was that one pass down the sideline to Fryermuth, right? That really got us into that position to do the little. It
Yeah.
was just like a play action, and Darnell was wide open, right?
Yep. I mean, for me, I have a tougher time remembering like specific drives. I could give you
Yeah.
like overarching things of what I liked. I remember like throughout the game, Fields had some great throws. Uh, where he just where and they were like longer throws too. Like
Right.
obviously
They were
that
on a
that one
line
too.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Fields showed me more with his arm than last week, and what he showed me was very promising.
Yeah, obviously we'll get into. I mean, what we thought looked good, which was really kind of negated by a lot of penalties. I mean, I'm sure it goes for like every team, where if you would have took away some of the penalties on some of those plays, the stat sheet would have looked a lot better. And yeah, that could be true for a lot of cases. But honestly, too, like a lot of like the highlights from that game were negated from penalties. You saw like that crazy ass throw, like a 50-yarder, like just straight flat line, just George Pickens, and the fact that he caught that. And then yeah, we'll get into like the penalties right now. Like Broderick got called for a holding call. I thought that was a really weird. Like we'll get into like Broderick's lack of play, but I thought it was a really weird situation how they were trying to cycle or rotate right tackles. You noticed that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought I because at first I thought, okay, we're finally getting Broderick on the left, and then it's like, okay, why is Dan Moore getting snaps there?
Yeah, Dan Moore
And
ended up
yeah,
starting and pretty much playing the whole game after there was basically a time during the week where he was not practicing, and they gave Broderick the snaps at left, right? So I mean, Dan Moore is doing whatever he can to secure his spot, I guess, on that left side and stopping, basically blocking Broderick from getting in. But yeah, they started Troy Fautanu first started him at right tackle, and then I think the second or third drive they shuffled him in, or maybe like the second they tried to give Broderick the second quarter. He got benched ultimately after like the three penalties on that lone drive. I think he got like two holdings and a false start. Um, I mean, stuff like that is kind of stupid. You shouldn't really be getting those penalties on either side, you know?
yeah,
Um,
that's preseason stuff. The two
right,
holdings, like
right. And if they were bad calls or not, we're not gonna get into that. But overall, kind of whatever. Um, and then I think it was when was the anyways, the defense was pretty much lights out the whole first half. I think we went into halftime up 10 zip or 13 zip. I think there was a cool little time where the Broncos were kind of driving. I think they might have had like they had that like double reverse pass, and they that kind of opened things up for them, and they got into the red zone, and then we had an interception by was it no, it was a rookie. It was Trice got that pick in the end zone. Nice. I don't know if you saw Bo Nix's press conference, but there was a clip on Twitter where they basically were like, "Oh, can you walk us through that play where you threw the interception in the end zone?" And he's like, "Yep." Drop back, threw it to the other team. That's all he said.
I respect that. That's a good answer.
Yeah, but honestly, what did you kind of see from Bo Nix? I honestly thought Sean Payton kind of coached a horrible game as well. On
I
top of
think it
that,
was a poorly coached game, especially well, the big part was like not going for the onside kick at the end of the game. I
right?
think that was probably the biggest like bad decision, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because uh it's kind of obvious like, oh, you're gonna give it to the Steelers, and the clock is gonna work out with you having less than 20 seconds left
Yeah,
with the ball, and you're gonna have 20 seconds to go the length of the field. Do you think you can honestly do that? And it's like
yeah,
maybe if you have Mahomes or something like that, but the way your offense has looked all day is like probably not. Like you should be going for the onside kick, you know. Um, it ended up working out like in the first scenario. Like okay, they kick it. We waste all this time. It gets down to I think 8 seconds or something, and then nothing happens. Right?
yeah.
It's 8 seconds. You have to go 80 yards. So that was like a really big coaching blunder in my head. Um, and I don't know. I think um I think we gave them a lot of trouble with our defense. So I'm
The
not sure
defense
how
is
much of that
elite. I mean,
the
straight
defense is
up.
looking elite. We've played. We don't know how the Falcons' offense is yet. Technically, we can't really compare.
They'll play the
Like,
Eagles
okay, where
tonight,
they,
but yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
yeah. So, but I know Denver's nothing special. But I was more relieved than anything. Knowing okay, Bo Nix is like a dink and dunk merchant. Javonte Williams is good. I think Javonte Williams is good. Um, but we contained them and we did really well in that respect. They did put together like a couple of nice drives near the end
Towards
of
the
it. Obviously,
end, yeah, just to try to
yeah.
get into it. I know what I wanted to get into before that, not taking the onside kick. There was a time, I think it was the fourth quarter. I just looked it up. There was about 10 minutes left. They decided to kick a field goal. It was hold up, I want to say a 35 yarder. Yeah, 35-yard field goal. Um, to turn a two possession game into a two possession game still. It was 13-0. I think you go for it too in that situation, right? Why are you
Remember what it
kicking?
was?
What do
Was
you
it like
mean?
4th and 6 or something?
I don't. I mean, I could get it right now, but yeah, it
But yeah,
was. Everyone's saying that they should have. It was a 4th and 5.
and
Oh
we
no,
already stopped them on
that
fourth down
was that
too.
was no, that was the last field goal. Uh, 4th and 6 when they kicked a 35-yarder. In that situation, you're in the red zone. You should go for it. You're down 2 scores. You're not turning. Either way, after that, it still would have been a two possession game. Still, I don't know. I don't. I mean, I guess fuck Sean Payton, especially because how he did Russ last year. Um, it is what it is. I'm not gonna argue with it. I'm not gonna say Tomlin outcoached him because honestly, he just shot himself in the foot. That was stupid. I mean, Tomlin just
Yeah.
played good defense the whole fucking time. Um, and yeah, when you're up 13-0 like that, you're gonna give up, drives like that, and you're playing your prevent, whatever. It was nice to kind of see the defense kind of pin the ears back and just rush and get after Bo Nix. He looked like he was seeing ghosts, I guess, as soon as we got to like the second half, I'd say.
No, yeah, we definitely looked like we rattled Bo. I so I think just the way, like his footwork must have been like really
Oh,
weird
that stupid
because
sack. Like, did TJ
yeah,
even grab his foot and he just
they
fell? Dude,
they must
he
have
was seeing
or else they
ghosts.
wouldn't have they must have or else they wouldn't have counted it, right? But like he
Yeah.
must have grazed him. But yeah, like Bo Nix had a couple of those moments where he just had like a really awkward sack or
The Alex
awkward
Highsmith
tackle.
sack was like that too, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So, you could probably attribute that to just maybe being psyched out by our defense, and I hope
right.
that's what it is.
Definitely. But yeah, I guess the other topic too, and we kind of got into it with like we're talking about the stat sheet. Justin Fields, where are you now after seeing 2 full games of tape on Fields? It looks like they're gonna. I mean, we'll get into it on Thursday, but it looks like he might getting the keys again on Sunday at home against the Chargers. Do you still want to see more? Do you think he's giving us a better shot than Russ right now?
I think with Russ, we're probably still 2-0. But
The
that's
same
probably
goes, we're
because
probably still 2-0 with any quarterback last year, with the way
it,
our defense played.
maybe, maybe. You never know. But I think with Russ, we're probably still 2-0. From Fields, obviously, he has that rushing threat,
Right.
right? And he has I don't know exactly how many yards he rushed for yesterday.
It was
I don't know if you
not
have
that high. I think he probably 27 on 8 rushes.
yeah, so nothing crazy then. But I want to say that like the game plans between Fields and Russ aren't that different, and the way that they're executing them, or the way that Fields is executing them, is obviously enough to get us the wins. And I think Russ would be able to execute at a similar level. I want to say that I do think Fields gives us a higher ceiling. Um, so long as we can raise his floor as much as possible
Right.
with like basically like hammering home,
Protect the ball.
don't make,
Yeah.
yeah, protect the ball. Don't make any losing plays. More than anything, like don't make any losing plays. Um,
But even
and
then, I
that's
feel
just
like go ahead. Go ahead. Thought
I
you
was
were
just
done.
gonna say that's just like the nature of like Tomlin being a defensive coach.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
would protect the ball on offense. Let us finish the game on defense.
Yeah. My point was, I think, well, you bring up Fields' rushing threat, but I feel like the way Fields rolled out of the pocket, kind of not scrambling, but he was throwing on the run, moving side to side. I thought that actually looked pretty good. I'm not gonna say brilliant, but I thought that looked a lot better than against the Falcons.
It did
And
look really good, really good.
I think he has to work on being a little bit more decisive. And I think you should have ran there, buddy. Like you should have took off.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, yeah. One of the Fields he had a few really great throws on the run. I think that throw to Pickens down the sideline was on the run that
yeah,
got
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, like that was fantastic, right? Like that was a great throw.
That
And
should have
it's that
been
sort of
that should have been top 5 Sports Center, dude. Like that play,
dude,
that catch, that throw.
mhm. It's that sort of stuff that like makes you or I think makes a lot of like Fields fans, really be like fans still
Yeah,
after after a few years of him looking
yeah, exactly.
unpolished.
Yeah,
He still has a lot of like highlight reels like
and
that.
he did have a really nice run too. I think it was on that drive that resulted in our only touchdown. He went down like the left sideline for almost good 20 yards, and it's just like, dude, like how did he do that? How did he escape all that? And he's faster than any DB, dude. He had to
Yeah,
get pushed out to the sideline.
yeah. That's another thing with Fields is like he's so good running. You want him to be a little bit more decisive when he's getting pressured. I feel
Exactly.
like there's definitely like several times where like he doesn't feel the pressure or he knows it's there, but he's still trying to keep his eyes downfield. And it's
Yeah.
like it's in one of those situations where it's like, no, dude, just take off. Like you don't have
Yeah.
that great of a pocket feel, but you're better off betting on your legs than you are betting on your vision. Uh,
Yeah.
and I would rather him have 12 rushes a game instead of 8,
Right.
just because Fields on his legs or Fields running is just electric.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. Um, and yeah, he's not going to become a pocket passer overnight, is what I was trying to say too. Yeah, he can work on it, can make some better throws. Accuracy is still kind of a concern. Not too much yesterday, but yeah, I mean, he's not going to become a pocket passer overnight. So I would like to see him just kind of take off with the ball sometimes, right? If it's not there, ideally not after the first read, take off every time, but hopefully he can learn to process the defense a lot quicker, see the zones, and yeah, if it's not there, take off.
Yeah, dude, he can still be himself. Like that is
Right.
that's what got him picked in the first round. I think it was
And
like
if there's one thing Tomlin
eight.
could be good at is trying to getting players to play to not, I guess, their potential, but like what they're comfortable with. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's something Tomlin could honestly probably. I mean, he could get out of a defensive player. I'm sure he could get off an offensive player, and I think Tomlin really likes Fields' athleticism, and it really is just kind of getting him to play, I guess, Tomlin style ball, which is just protecting the ball and taking your deep shots when you can. Um, but yeah, overall, what would you rate Fields' game?
I would probably give Fields.
Letters,
Uh,
letters.
oh, okay,
B
okay. So like out of 10, I give him a B.
B minus
Maybe
on my end, yeah,
yeah,
around there.
yeah. It wasn't obviously it wasn't a perfect game, but he's still there's still like lots of moments where he didn't play perfect,
Yeah.
right? But overall, super promising and a bunch of net positives on his end, which is exactly what you want.
Oh, what about? Let's get into this one too. This one play where they called the like a PI, a pick on Allen Robinson, not Allen Robinson, Van Jefferson, the same
Hmm.
number. But yeah, Pickens made a crazy effort to stay in bounds and kind of stretch out for the goal line right there. That was negated by a Van Jefferson like pick. I think some people don't think that was a good call at all. But yeah, that's another thing that would have jumped out on the stat sheet even more. Fields could have had another touchdown. Would have put the score away a lot better too. Um,
And I like, yeah, it would have been a big like obviously two passing touchdowns is crazy, especially in today's NFL
right.
where
The
those
numbers
just
are
kind of
down,
fell.
not just
Yeah, numbers.
us.
Yeah. Passing touchdowns are down. I mean, I think something I wanted to talk about a little bit. I don't know if you want to do it later.
So
Is the new NFL meta is
we can get into
definitely
that. Yeah, definitely on Thursday. That's really interesting to think about, especially after we see this Monday night game too, and we kind of get the full numbers because I did see a stat sheet and how they've been trending down. It looks like they just kind of plummeted, like it was just kind of like this, and then this year's like nosedive. But yeah, that's something we get into as well. But yeah, any other closing thoughts as we close the book on week 2 and then get ready for the Chargers?
closing thoughts. I think Fields did enough to keep the starting job. At this point, we'll see if they're gonna let Russ come back in or we'll see. If they want to be ultra cautious, if that's what they want to say to people, uh, let them say what they want. But I think we have I think Fields should stay in as our guy.
Yeah, I think yeah. And then I think we'll get Roman Wilson back. Let's see how much of an impact he can make because we desperately need it at wide receiver. I think. I mean, we'll get into this too because hopefully we start to see. I don't know if I want to hear more rumors. I kind of just want to see shit get done, but I'd like to see where we're at and start to think about or talk about where we could be when we get Roman Wilson back, and we kind of make a deadline move for another wide receiver. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. You want to say like, oh, what if we trade for Devonte Adams, right?
Maybe
Um,
not a name like that big, but I don't know. You saw DJ Moore kind of yelling at Caleb Williams last night on Sunday night. So
yeah,
we'll see what
DJ Moore
happens.
did not look happy at all.
um, but yeah, that's really my closing thought. I'd like to see where we can improve on the wide receiver position because I mean, I want to get more into like the stats because receivers besides George Pickens on our team, the numbers are terrible. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us today, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy this, quick rundown recap of week 2. We could spend a lot more time on this, but honestly, like I said, second half, not a lot going on. Offense looks sharp in the first half. Would like to see that get, kind of more polished in the second half. Maybe, Arthur Smith's working on making better adjustments, stuff like that. But anyways, guys, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a rating if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast. And yeah, peace out. Here we go, Steelers.